Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to have some English conversation practice. If you're learning English and you want to practice speaking or practice your conversation skills, you can certainly join us for this. We're going to explore around the world for a little bit of time. We're going to focus on places where it's past 8 o'clock. So we can start with a list from here. So of course 20 is equal to 8 o'clock it's 8 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, rather than 8 o'clock in the daytime, or the morning, let's say. So we're looking for those times and those places, and we're just going to have a look around and see what we can find that's happening in those places. Maybe something's happening, maybe nothing's happening. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna fix for a second. Bear with me for a second. I'll be there. So let me just go. There we go. That's all set. Okay, so we want to find a place just to explore what's happening in that place. So there's obviously a bunch of places it's 8 o'clock right now, but let's have a look. Where's an interesting place that we can look at? I guess the question is, what's not an interesting place? Why all these places have asterisks? I'm not sure. Maybe that's for summertime. Maybe it tells us at the bottom here. Okay, adjusted for daylight saving time. There you go. So that's the summertime. So let's pick a place, shall we? Let's pick a place. Where should we explore? Let's pick Vienna. Why not? Let's pick Vienna. So I will just bear with me for a second. So put it as like a little tentative date here. Let's search. How do I do this? Okay. I'll do this. So where am I? I'm over here. Okay, so we're searching. I searched Vienna news. I think I must have looked there before. Okay, because that's right. Because on the local, it has stuff about Vienna. Well, let's change it a little. Let's say there. What's happening in Vienna today? What's happening? I'm fixing my spelling there. So what's happening in Vienna today? Everything you need to do this weekend in Vienna. Vienna Wurstelstand. So Wurstelstand is like where you eat the hot dogs sort of thing. So we don't want to get any updates, but let's have a look. What's happening in Vienna? Although this date is like the 2nd. So I suppose they prepared it earlier for the coming weekend. Maybe that's the case. So what is happening in Vienna? They've got some sort of water thing happening there. So have a blast with some outdoor electronic vibes at this beach club. Okay, so it sounds like it's a dance party with water. Wow, this is I'm not sure if this is recommendable in a way. Because recommended if you like parties. Let's see if I make this a bit bigger so you can read this actually. So recommended if you like parties with a view. So we go. So parties with a view, wearing your favorite Hawaiian shirt, dancing by the waterside, beach vibes in the city, going for a drunk morning swim in the Danube. Well, all of them I like except for the last one. I don't know if I want to go for a drunk swim anywhere. I don't think that's the thing. Do people? I don't know. I guess that's what people do, maybe. But interesting. So that's one option if people are in Vienna. / one of two or a half. I'm not sure which one it is. So it's like a film festival, a gin festival. Is a Genus festival, but I don't know what Genus is. But there's a festival with it. So recommended if you like trying something yummy like that, eating and chilling in the sun. Being a food snob. A food snob, there's an interesting bit of vocabulary. So it's like if food snobs are, you're very picky about your food. So, I don't like that. I don't like the way that looks, or the smell is not nice, or that it doesn't seem right, or something like that. Or if it's just something like if there's the wrong ingredient in there. And it's like, there's nothing wrong if you actually eat the ingredient, but it's just you just don't like it for whatever reason. And you can be a bit snobby, says, no, I don't, I'll have something else, sort of thing. Very picky, I guess, is one way to describe it. Bare feet in the grass, like that, and the smell of freshly cut grass. Now, that is a beautiful smell. What do you think? I think that is a sensational smell. And I think probably I don't know, I have to think now, but I would probably have that in my favorite two smells that I can think of anyway. So the smell of freshly cut grass is, I think, a beautiful smell, and the smell of freshly cooked bread. Is there a smell that is nicer than that? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Give us a comment if you're watching. What are the favorite smells that you like? So I certainly think, yes, smell of freshly cut grass, but also freshly cooked bread is a beautiful smell. If you like the Viennese way of life, Austrian wine. I don't know what Austrian wine tastes like, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. Okay, but Genuss, I still don't know what Genuss is, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. Maybe it's the wine. Maybe the Genuss is the wine, because the poster here has people with wine and, well, the guy's got the wine in two glasses and the lady's mixing something. So maybe Genuss is like having wine and eating something at the same time. Maybe that's a word for that. It could be, but I don't know. I'm guessing at that. So there's other stuff, lots of other stuff. I guess it's common. Because it's coming into summertime, so there's going to be lots of like dance things, and it is Friday, of course. It's late Friday, and late Friday, 8 p.m. Friday. So there's going to be stuff happening for people going out. So, okay, lots of disco stuff, more disco stuff, lots of disco stuff. If you're in Vienna, there seems to be a lot of places for you to go out. Although it's all for the weekend, but still, over the weekend, there's lots of places to go out and dance and stuff. Lux Film Tag. I think tag is tag. I think that's like day. So recommended if it's free. Okay, we like that. So recommended if you like going to the cinema, watching films on the big screen instead of your laptop screen, gripping stories. So that's good. Captures your attention and keeps it. So it captures and keeps your attention. Films that make you all emotional. Well, why not? But I don't know what films they are. Okay, so we can answer that question straight away. So at Lux Film Tag, I'm going to guess, you get to enjoy Quo Vadis Aida, Flee, and Gross Freiheit. Problem is, I don't know what those films are. I like that big screen, but anyway, nice. Okay, we can see that you got the trailers here for the movies, so that's interesting. Maybe potentially interesting. Okay, but that seems to be sort of limited in terms of what options are, what's happening in Vienna. This could be. We'll see if this works. We'll click on the Independent, which is a UK publication. I wonder if they've got any stories about Vienna, how recent they are. with Ukraine's ports blocked, trains to Europe haul grain. Okay. I guess it's all. I guess it's similar news. Interesting. Under U.S. politics, this is classified as U.S. politics. They've got Austrian Chancellor tells Putin to end Ukraine war. I wonder if that's going to work. This is all very serious news, isn't it? I'm not sure how. I don't know why it is all. I guess they don't have any Vienna stories, so that was a bit of a chance that we took there, but it didn't quite work out. So anyway, that happens, doesn't it? Because it was very non-Vienna. I wonder if Euronews will have more news about Vienna. Let's continue without agreeing. Vienna, a money-saving travel guide to Austria's beautiful capital. Well, that looks good. NFTs representing sections, Klimt's The Kiss, sold for Valentine's Day. Okay, so these are going to be old stories. So not much in the way of new stories here. Okay, lots of pop-ups, aren't there? Lots of pop-ups. Okay. Let's see if there's anything. This is going to be a general story here, I guess. Let's say there's something. It's easy to travel to Vienna. Okay. Where to stay. Also, again, there's pop-up. Cheap food in Vienna. Now, look at that. That is interesting. I would say that's I don't know. If you've been to Vienna, let me know what you thought of the Wiener Schnitzels in Vienna. But to me, and you can't always tell with the picture necessarily, that looks like a smaller version of a schnitzel. I have seen bigger ones, I have to say, because normally, I don't know, you get like a plate and the schnitzel seems to hang over the plate, so it's bigger than the plate. But perhaps with this one, they haven't really pounded it as much. Maybe that's what's happened here. And I guess I can't remember. Do they always do the crinkle cut fries? Maybe. That said, this place, whichever place did this, has been very generous with the lemon wedges. Don't you think? Very generous with the lemon wedges. Okay, so now here we go. So the Wiener Schnitzel is made from a cut of veal. That's why sometimes you'll hear it as a veal schnitzel. The meat is pounded flat. Look at that. The meat is pounded flat before being covered in breadcrumbs and fried. There are actually some very good videos on YouTube that I've seen about them pounding the meat and then cooking it. Okay, so and if you don't eat meats, you'll be pleased to hear the vegan movement is booming in Vienna for the best vegan ice cream. I thought they're going to talk about a vegan schnitzel, but anyway, they've got head to Veganista, which has shops popping up all over the city. Now that's a great little use of language here. Popping up, shops are popping up all over the city. Or springing up, we say sometimes. So just in little places. Or maybe they're like small shops, but in different. And that wouldn't sort of surprise me with stuff that I don't know specifically in Vienna what's been happening, but I guess in many places, lots of businesses unfortunately had to close, and so there'll be lots of spaces free for people to start their own opportunities. So speaking of sweet treats, make sure you grab a slice of Vienna's decadent Sachertorte. If I give that pronunciation a go, before you leave, made of chocolate sponge, covered in a dark chocolate ganache with an apricot jam center. Yes, because I think apricots are a big, relatively big produce or fruit of produce in Austria, and you can find the cake all over the city. Interesting. Visit Vienna's most beautiful green spaces. This is a statue of Mozart. If we can zoom in, what does it say? Well, we can't see it. I think that's just that'll be the dates of birth and death in Roman numerals. Okay, and lots of attractions. There's like a big Ferris wheel there. Okay, so lots of stuff. Okay, so that's Vienna. Let's see if we can go back to the time. Let's see another place where it's in the hour of 8 at the moment. Let's have a look. I have never heard of this place, so let's have a look there. Gaborone. Let's see if we can. Gaborone. Where is Gaborone, first of all? Gaborone is the economic capital, as well as the government capital of Botswana. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Gaborone is the city. So what's happening in Gaborone? So what are the events with Gaborone? Let's check this site. What are the events? It looks to be very, now it's in Africa, so there could be very, have large expanses of open land, shall we say. And I guess that's what they're showing here. Their email, their web, I'm not sure if it could just be this site, but I'm not sure if Botswana has their own, suffix for the websites. Because ZA, I thought ZA was South Africa. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the way. So what's happening? I guess with the what's happening, it's just going to show me just general events, not news. But then if you look at news, it's all politics. So what can we say? Okay, so we've got the Botswana International Air Show, but dates to be announced. Everything's to be announced. There's an International Music and Culture Week, again, to be announced. Everything's to be announced. So we don't know when anything is happening. Let's have a look at some restaurants, shall we? Okay. Well, there's only 2, so I was going to say, should we look at the top one or scroll down a bit more? But there's only 2 there. So anyway, okay, before we do that, let's have a look at some fun facts. Fun facts about Botswana, a democratic paradise in the world. Botswana. So what could be interesting? Okay, so did you know Botswana, present-day Botswana, formerly Bechuana land, I never even heard of that, wow, was a protectorate under the United Kingdom from 1886 to 1966 when it became independent. It's a Commonwealth, okay. It became a democratic society, making it Africa's best democracy. I wonder what that means, the best democracy. I'm not sure how they classify that, but anyway. And since the 1970s, it's a home of some of the world's most peaceful societies. Okay. No other place in the third world has had a democratic system comparable to Botswana. Okay, well, they're explaining it here. And contrary to most nations in the world, the African capital has not had coup d'etats. Look at that. So coup d'etats, guerrillas, warlord, I'll make that a bit bigger so we can all read that. Military dictatorships and Marxist revolutions. Hello, Sonia, how are you going? How's this Friday for you? Just exploring some different places around the world and chatting, as the as the case is. I hope you're having a good a Good Friday. This could actually be, from what we're reading here, if this is true, this could be, well, it says contrary to most nations in the world. That's probably true. I was going to say African nation, but it's probably true that probably most nations. So it seems like a fairly peaceful place to visit. So not had a coup d'etat, no guerrillas, no warlords, no military dictatorships, and no Marxist revolutions. It was interesting. Until 1990, ironically, this democratic nation had been surrounded by foreign dictatorships and war-torn countries. That's difficult, isn't it? That's going to be the case, I guess, with a lot of, places in Europe, surrounded, maybe not surrounded, because I guess it was two sides. Let's see. So Botswana, geography, Botswana is a South African so it's a Southern African nation that borders Zambia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. It's the fourth largest country in Southern Africa. I'm not sure where the divide is between South and North, but anyway, with more than 1.5 million people. Wow, that's not many people. 1.5 million people, a territory of over 600,000 square kilometers. That's difficult to read. That's why, see, if you have a number like this, make that a little bit bigger. If you have a number like this, that's why it's good in English. We do the comma to separate the numbers. Makes it a little bit easier to read, particularly if you're just reading on the fly, if you know what I mean. So the Democratic Republic is one of the world's most sparsely, there's a good word, sparsely populated countries. Good word, not high frequency, I will stress. And you'll often see it with things like population is where they'll have it. Along with Mongolia, Namibia, Australia. Yes, okay, that makes sense. And Mauritania. Yeah, it's true. Because if you think of Australia, even just the population, because our population is what, 25, something like that, million now. But with the size of the country, it's much smaller. Well, sorry, it doesn't have much population. It's just on particularly the coastal areas. But yes, okay, good. Okay, it's landlocked. Botswana is landlocked, a landlocked republic. Well known, it should be with an N at the end there. So well known for its notable national parks and deserts. Okay. So landlocked, of course, meaning that there's no water around it anywhere. There's no access to the sea or an ocean, that sort of thing. Again, has the best democratic system in all of Africa. Okay, so there we go. So Bill Clinton visited Gaborone, if I'm pronouncing it right, Gaborone in 1998. Okay, so that's I guess that's a few facts about Gaborone. But let's sort of go back and explore. This is we search for restaurants here, but I'm not sure if this is actually about a restaurant. Let's see, the African experience. Okay, this is more about, this is like a whole travel itinerary. But certainly you can get the idea of that sparse population here, don't you? With all of these pictures. Although this would be a pleasant, let's have a quick look here. This would be a very pleasant dinner, although maybe that's not going to load too quickly. Let's see if we can speed across here. Wow. That's that's what we're talking about, very sparse. I guess this is though when you think of Africa, this is what you think about, isn't it? Or even without trees, just of maybe desert as well. it's not really moving much, the picture. Let's move it along a bit. This would be pleasant, wouldn't it? I think this would be a... Now, I don't know what animals, though, would be around here, but it looks as though a very tranquil place to relax. Oh, okay. I don't know if I would be scared of that. Would you be scared of this? I mean, let me just get rid of that. That to me looks, I don't know, like the idea is nice, but, and I guess there's nothing wrong with sleeping under the stars, of course, but I don't know, because then you go, okay, because you see here the elephants coming through, but you don't know what other animals are going to come through. And I wonder where this, because it's hard to know if this is actually really close to the place or not. Okay, it is really close because the elephants are right there. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if that would be. How do I? Okay, it's there we go. But that would be, I don't know, interesting and different. Oh, there's even a swimming pool there. Look at that. Look at that. It's sort of, I don't know, it sort of feels wrong to have a swimming pool there. I don't know. It's like it's relaxing, I'm sure. I wonder how they prevent the animals from coming up to that water. It looks to be very high on this edge on the left. But I wonder how they stop the animal, unless maybe there's like a gate or a fence or something. It is a very peaceful place, isn't it, Sonia? It does look like an extremely peaceful place. And you're certainly not going to get many people around there. And I imagine it's a bit of a, we would say, a bit of a trek to get there. And you're not just sort of, I wonder if we can zoom in here. Okay, so let's do the satellite photo. Wow, look at that. Look at that. You're, in English, we would say the middle of nowhere. Well, of course it is somewhere, but it's like there's no other. I wonder where you can see population. I don't know if it's, okay, so maybe where this Tokyo. Interesting. Okay, I wonder if this Tokyo has, maybe that could be that. Okay, so these, okay, so all along the river seems to be places like this. So it's sort of hugging the river, if you like. And this Tokyo may be a city. No, it looks like maybe that was a mine or something there. Well, that's, I don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. Well, there's certainly roads. Maybe it was like an old mine or something before, but it's, I don't know what that would be. I'm not very good with identifying things, you know, from like an aerial view. I thought Tokyo would have been like, there would have been a population here or something, since it has a name, but maybe not. Even if we zoom in, there's no house. Well, there seems to be maybe one house, but not really much. This really is a sparsely populated place, isn't it? I won't visit a place like that because there are lots of wild animals. Exactly. I have the same concern. It's like the idea of like sleeping out with the stars and that sort of stuff is all fantastic, but I don't know. I have this, even though they're only going to show elephants, of course, but you have this idea that maybe there could be lions or who knows what coming through. And even if they are like giraffe or elephants or whatever coming through, I don't know if they know that we're friendly and stuff. Okay, so this is the capital. Okay, so I wonder if, okay, so the capital is really, really close to the border. Look at that. That's the border of South Africa, and they're into Botswana. I wonder if there are any other capitals so close to a border with another country, because I always thought normally they have the capitals generally like inland, so there's a bit of protection compared to, well, against in case other countries try and invade or something like that. Um, wow, that's incredibly close. And even if we look even from, so this is the capital, and I guess this makes sense because like we saw the population's 1.5 million, but look at that. That would be incredible. So we've got a game reserve right near the capital. This is a capital where you could probably sort of, there could be anything. You've got industrial areas, a business area, they've got a shopping mall and a game reserve. It's a little bit of everything. Buenos Aires is near the border too. Oh, okay, didn't realize. That'll be the border of where? Is it Uruguay next door, or what would be the closest country? Let's quick look. See the maybe Chile? No. Oh, okay, it is Uruguay. Oh, okay. They must be, I don't know. Because in Europe it could be something similar as well. But they could perhaps, Montevideo and Buenos Aires could potentially be the closest two capitals, maybe. But then again, in Europe, there may be some as well, because you've got so many countries tightly packed together. But okay, I didn't realize it was that close. It's funny when you think of I don't know. I always think, well, maybe that's bad. You think sort of like near the sort of center or something. Near the center or near the water. In Buenos Aires is near the water as well, but okay. So that's that same photo. Yeah, that's really, this place is going to be, they may not have many or much of a population, but I would imagine that tourism is quite expensive. Because looking at this place, this is not an ordinary this is not an ordinary place to live. This is quite luxurious, isn't it? But, and then again, look at this. I mean, this is probably what's missing from most homes, is having a tree inside the home. I would like to think, now maybe it's not, but I would like to think that's a living tree inside the home. That would be something. Where was I? I think there was one place, I think it was in Barcelona. There was like a bar or a bar, and they have a tree inside that, but not just like a little tree like this. It's like a proper big tree inside the bar. That may even be the name of the place. Not like big tree, but something related to that in Spanish, of course. But that's quite luxurious. This lamp as well is what would you call this? I don't know what this is. I'm not sure if this is meant to mean anything or this is just art. Sort of like, I'm not sure if this is like a marshmallow thing or what. It's very distracting, isn't it? But I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know if I would think, like, if I saw that lamp, if I'd think Africa, and definitely not Botswana. Now this is okay. So we go from this, where we have like luxury and full of items. We've got the tea set here on the table, ready for people to enjoy their afternoon tea or whatever the case may be. Actually, by the way, what are these things? these things that are like on the front of the beds. I've seen this in some places, and I don't exactly know what they are. Is it just meant to be for decoration, or is it? I don't think there's a functional thing for them. And if it's for like what's it? Is it you're not supposed to see the bottom of the bed or something? I don't know why that is there. But you're not short of pillows in this place. You've got 8 pillows. I'm guessing it's the same on both sides. 8 pillows. That's a lot of pillows. But then, okay, so when we come to this one, this is a bit more minimal. Okay. So this will probably be the same as the other tree. So it's not like living, like it's living, but it's in a pot tree, if you know what I mean. So not a pot plant, but a pot tree. This looks more urban though, because if we look through the window, we can see a city. So maybe this is in the capital, maybe. But the balcony looks okay. Actually, the balcony looks quite big because it looks to be a balcony on the left side of the photo and also at the back. So that's interesting. Oh, nice. Okay, so they're dealing with special events and stuff. So this can't all be the same. Is this all the same place? Because if they have other buildings on the side there, it looks completely different to the place we saw before. But I'm not sure. I think maybe these just must be highlights from all around the place. Now, I sort of wish they would put a description here with what this is. Maybe it's just me because it's food, but I know what you mean. Minimalist, there's a certain relaxed feeling to minimalist, isn't there? It's you can it's not because maybe it's too chaotic with the mind and everything. If things everywhere and you run into things, it's nice it's like an open space. It's sort of a nice thing. And I guess a room looks bigger. Is that right? A room looks bigger if you have less things in it. Maybe. But I don't know, what are the ingredients here? I assume this thing that's sort of curling around is maybe like a plantain sort of thing or banana sort of thing, maybe. Looks to be lettuce and maybe some cucumber there. No idea what the sauce is. And I don't know, I assume this is maybe bread or pastry of some sort, and what's in the middle? I have no idea. I really wish they gave us a title or a description here, because I have no idea. I have no idea what food would be like in Botswana, or if they have something unique. So not like in Australia, we don't really have any unique foods in Australia. We just have foods that we got from other places, really, in general. But I do wonder because obviously in Europe and in like South America and lots of places, they have very individual foods. Some shared, but their own versions. But I wonder in Africa, because I haven't been, I guess I don't know. But this is obviously just a party, some cupcakes, which you can get almost anywhere. So you can see cucumber, red bell pepper. Oh, is this a pepper, do you reckon? Oh, maybe that is a pepper. And bread. Yeah, I think so. It's sort of like a rustic hamburger bun, but it hasn't been, well, maybe it's cut, but I don't know. I don't know what this is. Is that bell pepper? It could be. I guess it's like if they use one of those thin slices, like they did with the cucumber. It could be the bell pepper. Okay, and then there's the outdoor fireplace Could be. Who knows? But well, just a bunch of guesses here. A bunch of guesses. All right, let's explore a bit further. Let's go back to our clock, shall we? So there are other places now that have just turned 8 o'clock. So we're looking for places that are in the 8 hour, so the 8 p.m. hour. I'm not going to do London or Edinburgh or Cardiff. They're a little bit too obvious, perhaps. I don't know what's a different place to explore. What's there? There are lots of names here that I don't know. Okay, there's not too many yet in this time. Well, not to me listed here anyway. I guess here they've captured the main ones. Let's go for what should we go for? Brazzaville. That sounds curious. Brazzaville. I've never heard of Brazzaville. But let's have a look. So what is Brazzaville? Brazzaville is the capital and largest city of the Republic of Congo, or the Congo Republic. Founded in 1883, founded by Pierre Savognin de Brazza, hence the name Brazzaville. Okay, interesting. And Brazzaville may be famous for its bridge. Okay, so let's have a look. So what's happening in Brazzaville? Okay, that's interesting. So the first results that come up are just news websites. So a French, British. I guess that's the Middle East. I guess is Al Jazeera. I guess that's I'm not sure Al Jazeera is more African or Middle East, but either way. Congo Brazzaville. It looks like a tour group or tour thing. Humanitarian. AP News. There doesn't seem to be much just in Brazzaville itself. Let's have a look. African News Congo. Showcase of culture style at first Brazza Fashion Week. Okay, let's continue without agreeing. So Congo Fashion Week. Okay. So let's look here. So the first edition, so this was last month, 10th of, let's see if I make this bigger. There we go. So the 10th of April was this story. So the first edition of Brazza Fashion Week. I like the sound of that. I just like Brazza as a name. Has taken place in Brazzaville. Held for 3 days. The week showcased talents from the Central African nation, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon. Okay, this is a nice word, to showcase. To use this as a verb, like you have a showcase, a place where you show different items, like in a jewelry shop, you'll have a showcase where you can see the jewelry, like the watches and necklaces and that sort of stuff. But to showcase is like another way to say to display or to show, like you have showcase. It's a nice word to use. Again, somewhat low frequency, but interesting nonetheless. So what could we see here? So there were exhibitors at the event who displayed their products and brands. We offer a variety of sewn and unstitched items. I wonder why that's important. So sewn is like with the handcraft, and unstitched, meaning what? They have the fabric and they just cut it. Is that what that means? Brazza's Fashion Week is first and foremost, so the main reason for this, First and foremost, that's nice. First and foremost, an event that promotes Congolese fashion and beauty, then helps entrepreneurs who are in the shadows. Okay, so people don't know about them. So they're in the shadows to show themselves to the public. The pattern maker added. So during the show itself, the designer from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Lydia Okasa, created a sensation by wearing a dress sewn with newspaper. A dress sewn with newspaper. They sewed it with newspaper. Okay. A show to plead for healthy communication. Okay, interesting. So she says, I studied communication. That's when I understood that it is necessary to communicate in a healthy way, because with this, one impact positively, one can resolve conflicts. With truthful communication, we can clearly assess the state we are in, and that can lead us to development. Now, that's very true, I think. I think that's absolutely very true. But the question is, if there is truthful communication. I guess this is the problem with that we have with world leaders and that sort of thing sometimes is there the truthful communication? Unfortunately, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, so the Brazza Fashion Week was the first experience of a fashion week for some designers and creators in Congo. So, okay, so it just seems to be those countries working together, which is good. That's good. But otherwise, it's really difficult to find news. I want to click on Brazza News if anything comes up. Okay, that's just... there doesn't really seem to be anything specific. I click see what the French are saying. Let me come in. So a decade on. Wow. Yeah, then it all seems to go into a lot of politics, doesn't it? A lot of politics. There doesn't really seem to be much on Brazzaville. Let's check away that Brazza News. Not much with Brazzaville. What's got here? Not much is the answer. Okay, so unfortunately for Brazzaville, I don't know why they don't have more. Why they don't have more information about Brazzaville. I want to just click on news. Well, it's got what we just saw. Okay, so if we look at Brazzaville, let's have a look here. So that's not going to work. Let me, how can I do that? Hold on, we'll come back to this in a second. I'll just pop this here and let me change this and we'll get this other site up. Let's have a look. Where are we? Lots of pop-ups here, but we can get through. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is from a website called the Nomadic Vegan. We're here. So top 20 things to do in Brazzaville, Congo. This is written a couple years back. It's interesting. There's not many people here. Maybe it's just when the photo was taken. So the surprising truth. So they've got, I like when everything's indexed there. So let's have a look. So this person says, I recently had the unique opportunity to travel to Brazzaville, the capital. The place really surprised me. What I thought was going to be a scary, intimidating destination turned out to be, this is a nice combination here, turned out to be one of the safest, friendlier cities I've ever visited in Africa. So you can see here what they've done. So you have the initial information, and then, well, the first bit of information, the second bit of information, and their opposite pieces of information. And then, the second one is, of course, the reality, what was actually discovered, as opposed to the perception before. And they're bridging that with turned out to be. So that's a very nice combination of words that you can use if you ever want to explain something where particularly you thought something was going to be negative, but it was actually okay. So maybe like you have a fear of a particular event or doing a particular thing. Or maybe there's like, imagine like maybe you're going to a restaurant and you see bad reviews and you heard bad things about the place, but you go there and it turns out to be quite a nice place. Or maybe you heard about a person, you have to meet a person, and what you heard about them was like they were not very friendly, not very nice, but you ended up meeting them and they turned out to be very friendly and very easy to talk to, or something like that. So that's actually quite a nice combination of words to use. So let's continue on. So prior to my trip, I had the impression that the Congo was a dangerous, lawless country. Well, this is a pretty accurate description for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Things are very different in the neighboring Republic of Congo. It can get very confusing, can't it, with that sort of thing. So did you know that there are two Congos, both are named after the Congo River that divides them, and their capital face each other? They're probably going to be the closest capitals then. They're just across the river. Depends, of course, how wide the river is, but still. Each other are the opposite banks. Nice word. So the bank of the river. The banks of this mighty body of water. Indeed. Okay, this has answered our question. There we go. Just by exploring, we've answered our question. Indeed, they are the closest pair of capital cities anywhere in the world, unless you count Rome and the Vatican City. But I imagine Buenos Aires and Montevideo would be pretty close on the list, probably in the top 10, I would say. So to avoid confusion, the two countries are often referred to by the names of their capitals. Okay, so we've got Brazzaville and Kinshasa. Okay. Okay, so it says there. So the two share similar culture and language, but their tragic colonial histories have led them down different paths. Yes, that seems to have been the problem for a lot of things, isn't it? So telling us about a video that we can check out for more information. So while Brazzaville is incredibly safe, even for solo female travelers, its reputation by association with the Democratic Republic of Congo has kept tourists away. I suppose that makes sense. It doesn't help. Now here we go. We've found this, haven't we? It doesn't help that there's very little information about places to see or things to do in Brazzaville. We've just found that out, haven't we? There's like news sites, and that's it. And there was nothing. There was nothing. And even if we clicked on the page that looked like a tourist sort of page, there was nothing. And again, this is nice language here. And the little info that is available, that's nice, is mostly in French. Okay, so in an effort to help more people discover this fascinating and little explored corner of Africa, I'm sharing my list of the top 20 things to do. Okay, and I have to say, all of these things, I'm pretty sure I, and probably you, have never heard of or seen before. So the Basilica, this amazing green, look at that. Basilica of Saint Anne of the Congo. Is that jade, do you think? That is an incredible roof. I can imagine even in person, that would be even more remarkable, and maybe even with different colors to see. I would like to learn French. Yes, yeah, it would be helpful in many places, in many African places as well. I think they still speak French parts of French in some places in Africa, I think. This is an incredible church. And this is if ever there's an adjective that's very accurate, this is absolutely it. So this striking Catholic church was built in 1943. It is very striking, isn't it? Absolutely. At that time, Brazzaville was the official capital of Free France, the government in exile, led by Charles de Gaulle. Oh, there you go. There you go. I did not know that. Okay. So that's probably where they could get money at the time to build such a thing. So it wasn't consecrated until 1949. And in 2011, the spire of the bell tower was finally finished. So the spire, the bell tower, can we see the... Okay, good, there we go. Okay, nice. I guess they finished the roof and then they waited to get more funds to finish the top. Its roof of emerald green tiles is said to represent the scales of a snake, much like the gargoyles carved on the facades of medieval churches. And these scales are symbolic of the evil that lies outside the church. Okay, there we go. Okay, and when you visit, you may be lucky enough to stumble upon a wedding like I did. This is a nice thing, to stumble upon. That's when you see something by chance. That's a nice expression there, to stumble upon something. So you didn't mean to find it. Pierre Savognin de Brazza. So this is the statue of the man with his stick. Okay, so maybe he was like an explorer. Interesting as well. That's interesting fashion of the time, because even if he was exploring, I guess that was the trousers there were to protect and insulate against whatever could be. This is an incredible house. I like the interesting little hut there. This is always the question, isn't it? Humanist or colonizer? There's lots of debate, isn't there, about... It's like in the UK when there's debate about different universities, having people like Rhodes, when they have like the Rhodes Scholar, celebrating people like Rhodes in terms of what they did and how they gained their wealth. And so as history sort of fades on, people remember the good things and don't necessarily look into the detail of how things got to be how they are. Nabema Tower. Okay, this let's see if we can get... Okay, it looks... It's a tall picture. Okay, it's a tall tower. How many stories is that, do you reckon? I wonder. That's quite a few stories. Maybe, without even knowing, that could be the tallest building in the Republic of Congo. Let's see if we have that information. How many stories? That'll be, what, 30 stories maybe? Let's see if we find out. There we go. There we go. I just saw the information. Look at that. Love it or hate it, you can't miss this cylindrical 30-floor skyscraper. So there you go. 30 stories, 30 floors. That's a good guess. in the middle of downtown Brazzaville, so the center of the city, basically. It's the tallest building in the country, and is fittingly, so appropriately, named after Mount Nabemba. Not sure if that's what I said before, but okay, Nabemba, the tallest mountain in the Republic of Congo. So built in the 1980s with money borrowed from a French oil company, it was then severely damaged in the Civil War of 97, and the subsequent renovation cost more than $20 million, which was even more than what it had cost to build in the first place. That's not a surprise, I guess. Annual maintenance costs are close to $4 million. And here we go, this is the sentence, which is a lot of money for such a poor country. That's, I don't know. That's, what do you say? What do you say to that? Yeah, that's, when you have so many needs in a country, and we as humans, we always think of, okay, what are our necessities? We need, food, shelter, heat, water, those sorts of things. This is ticking none of those, and I'm not sure if it's what it's contributing. I'm not sure, because it says it costs $4 million to maintain. I'm not sure if, okay, we can find out here maybe. Hence the controversies surrounding the tower, which houses offices and government ministries and is closed to the public. Yeah, so the public can't even look at it. It's not a tourist attraction of any sort, because no one knows about it anyway, I guess. It's just, I don't know. That's so it's just offices, and so I guess they're not paying any rent because the government's not going to pay themselves, so they're just going to pay for the maintenance of the building. It makes you wonder. We were saying this. It is an old and unfashionable building. Absolutely, they pay a lot for it. Absolutely, that's an understatement, I think, because then you think, okay, when it first goes up, okay, maybe they had plans to develop the country and the city and that sort of thing, and then when the Civil War happened, okay, but if they're just building it just to have offices, I don't know. If you're building it and okay, you're trying to generate income, you're getting tourists to come in, people know about it and they go, oh, I've got to visit that building, that looks spectacular, or something like that. And people can go up and they look at the views, or there's a restaurant or whatever it is. They can enjoy it or do different things, learn about the country. Could be like a museum as well. So they could have like the top 2 or 3 floors talking about the history of the country, or could be like different sort of exhibitions and that sort of thing. And so, you get people to come and have a look at that. You could have conferences there. You could try and get companies to come in and that sort of thing. But it looks as though it was just, unfortunately, the government looking after themselves. It's amazing how they can find money for whatever they need to do. They always need to have I'm not sure in this country necessarily, but if I look at places like Australia and other countries, they always, have their cars and their drivers. They've always got their expenses to, now in Australia, there's an election and they always have good money to print different sort of leaflets and pamphlets and brochures and that sort of thing. So everyone can know. That's part of democracy, I guess, isn't it? Everyone can know about the policies and that sort of thing. And I guess they use the argument, well, not everyone has the internet, so they have to be able to present to the people. But I don't know. There's a lot of money spent for things that, particularly these days in a digital age, are not probably needed. Not probably needed too much. I'm sure if you go back, I don't know, yeah, but like 50 years, 100 years, I'm sure when politicians were campaigning, they were actually out in the parks and in the streets, and they were talking to people, standing on a box or something, answering questions and having debates with people and that sort of thing. That's how they were getting the message across. But the amount of money, and so yeah, so you see something like this, that's a lot of money, and when it's a poor country, and then you have people in poverty not doing well, it's a sickening thing, really, isn't it? It's a sickening thing. Here is the bridge that we saw earlier on. Seems to be hugging a lake or a river. Maybe this is the river. This could be the river where the Democratic Republic is on the other side. It's very interesting with the way the houses are here. It's yeah, interesting. The word Cornish usually refers to a road that runs along a coastline, but Brazzaville is not on a coast or on the coast. So in this case, it's a road that follows the riverbank of the Congo River. Okay. It's a beautiful, peaceful walk. And all the more so right now, since it's currently closed to vehicles. There you go. Now, why is the bridge closed to vehicles? We need to ask. So it's only, so in January 2020, just a month before my visit, part of the road collapsed due to flooding and erosion. I don't know when does it say when they put this building up? Because that's like, it doesn't say, but because that's like the part of the whole thing, isn't it? You build it so it's, if it's next to a river, you build it so in case there's more water than normal, it can still stand. So, here's not a surprise. So there are allegations. Sorry, that a little bit bigger. So there are allegations that corruption, embezzlement, and poor construction also played a role. So that's not a surprise. So currently, the section between the Mami Wata restaurant and the Case de Gaulle from Charles de Gaulle is open only for pedestrians. So I guess it didn't collapse too badly if pedestrians can still walk across it. I'm gonna guess. So the whole walk from Mamawati to the rapid should take less than 2 hours. So that could be interesting. This looks like, is this the same building or same bridge? Okay, so maybe okay. So the Corniche is the walkway and the bridge is the bridge. Okay. So that's sort of like they've got the two combined. Okay. So, and this bridge was only inaugurated in 2016, 6 years ago. And it collapsed when? 4 years later. Wow. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway. So these are the rapids that she was mentioning. I guess that's the Democratic Republic across the other side. Very brown, that water, isn't it? Very, very brown. There were lots of, so I guess it's a river, of course, so it gets everything stirred up with the rapids and that sort of thing. I'm guessing you don't swim in the Congo. I guess that's the thing. Okay, but you can do whitewater rafting there, it seems. A few local daredevils, a few daredevil locals, seem to enjoy the thrill of the rapids without the need of any raft. So what, they just jump in the water? Wow. As I was sitting at a popular restaurant and bar called Las Rapids, I was astonished to see a young man swim right through the rapids wearing nothing but his underwear. At first I was afraid he was drowning, but then he did it 5 more times. Here's some interesting vocabulary. So when he saw that I was filming him, he started hamming it up. So you know when someone plays for the cameras, they do all the things, hey, look at me, hamming it up. While I definitely don't recommend you try this for yourself, watching the locals tackle the rapids is certainly entertaining. Interesting. Have a drink on the banks of the Congo. It's sort of, I don't know, it looks, the way this lady describes it, it does look like a very interesting place to visit. How long for? I don't know. But certainly it looks like an interesting place. But I have to say, I've never, as we said, like, never heard of this. And so people are never going to go. And if they think, when people think of places to go in Africa, I don't know what you think, but I think people think places like obviously South Africa. Maybe they think of Kenya, Nigeria, maybe Ethiopia. Then you've got places like Morocco, Egypt, of course. But no, I don't think anyone thinks, oh, got to go to Congo. And I don't know if maybe they don't want people from overseas. I don't know. But it's a curious thing. It's a curious thing. We've got more pictures of the rapids and different places to sit and enjoy them. It does look like at least from these photos anyway, it looks like a very peaceful place to be in general. I don't know how she got around, if it was like walking everywhere or if it was like public transport and what that's like. Or if it's like you hire a taxi or something to get around. So here, this is a place called La Hotel Rose. So meaning the pink hotel. So you can't miss the big pink building which sits on the bank of the Joey River, maybe, I'm not sure. And so while I didn't eat or drink anything here, I did poke my head in to check it out and chat with the staff. This is a nice expression. So to poke your head in. So it's like you say, like literally you think of like you open the door and you poke your head in, could be very literal. But it's like, hey, how you going? I'm just having around, just looking around the place, seeing what it's like. And like you're in and out for a couple minutes, maybe, something like that. I agree with you, Sonia. It is an interesting place, isn't it? It's just a curious thing. This is literally by chance. I'm stumbling upon this place. Bantu Beach. Like we'll say, not many people here, although there are some balls there. So maybe someone plays soccer. A beach with real sand. So eat Congolese street food. Okay, so let's have a guess. What is this? What is this? the first guess is like small potatoes, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's going to be small potatoes. And then there's, I don't know, because I can't tell if it's actually a vegetable or a fruit. And then there's a sauce, which could be like a tomato or like a chili sort of sauce. I wonder what this is. And it seems to be, I'm assuming someone's put those sticks in. I don't, unless that's part of, maybe that's actually part of what it is. It's growing on the tree and they cut that. That's like a stem. Maybe I was thinking it was like they put in like a toothpick or something, but maybe not. So I wonder what this is. Let's scroll down and find out. Okay, so this is safal sold on a stick. Oh, this is on a stick. Okay, as street food. Well, that was the other thing I was thinking. Like those little sausages you can get in places. I've seen some, like obviously you have the big longer sausages, but other places you have those little mini, like a nugget sort of a sausage. But but maybe saffo is a type of sausage. I wonder if it's going to explain here. Okay, so one of my favorites is I may be pronouncing this completely incorrect, so don't take my pronunciation for this. So one of my favorites is safal, also known as the African pear. I had never seen a safal until I arrived in the Congo, but I quickly became hooked on them. Let's explore a little bit further. The pulp is quite creamy and fatty like an avocado, but with a tart citrus flavor. Okay, that's an interesting food. I wonder if it's only in Congo or if it's only in certain parts of Africa. I don't know I guess if it is a type of pear, it's just another type of pear, maybe. I guess there are many types of pears, so maybe that's it. Also popular, roasted peanuts and banana chips are very common street foods. But I think that's in a lot of places as well. So that's maybe not as special, which is why she just sort of mentioned it on the side. I take a selfie at the I Heart Brazzaville, so BZV. Okay, so if we ever see BZV anywhere, they're talking about Brazzaville. Okay, well, this is not really a selfie, is it? This is or maybe she just didn't put the selfie up. It's really surprising to see such a blatant Instagram spot like this in Brazzaville, a city. This is exactly right. A city that's not exactly a top destination for travel influencers, or even just anyone traveling. Because I think most people, they like the photo of, because I think every city has like somewhere where it's got like the name of the place in some sort of, not just boring way, but like a special way, even it's like for like on a street sign or something, or like something with flowers or something. I think that's a very common thing. I couldn't find any info about the I Heart Brazzaville sign, but judging by the date next to it, it's clearly a new edition. Yes, so 2020. So yeah. So perhaps it was erected by GHS, a fancy 4-star hotel that it sits in front of. Chances are, yes. I'm yet to see. Okay, this is a nice construction. I'm yet to see. It's like I haven't seen yet, but I'm yet to see. So up until now, it's a different weight if you want to write the same sort of idea as when we'd write like a present perfect. So I haven't seen yet, or I'm yet to see anyone posting photos of the sign on Instagram. So maybe you can be the first. Maybe. I might check that a little bit later. See if BZV is anywhere there. This one doesn't come through. So there's the firefighter thing there. Okay, that's the video. Okay, drink cocktails out of a pineapple. Okay, I said that. See what I like about this, and could be for any place. What I like about this is they've given you the drink out of the pineapple, but they then also give you the pineapple, so you can enjoy that. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. It's a good looking pineapple. So drinking cocktails out of a pineapple on a Brazzaville rooftop. It's an undisputed fact that cocktails taste better when sipped from a hollowed out pineapple. Here's a word you don't see too much. Hollowed out. So they just take out the center. That's very common, isn't it? If it's some food, maybe it's not, the center is completely filled out anyway, but like things like peppers, like the bell peppers that we were talking about before, and that sort of thing, or pumpkin as well, I've seen it. Whatever, other things too. Tomatoes, I see, like people put things inside tomatoes. So lots of different things. So at Chicha Cafe in downtown Brazzaville, they serve these delicious treats on the covered terrace upstairs. Next time, I'll remember to ask for no straw. Why? Why would you have this with no straw? That would be difficult, wouldn't it, if you didn't have a straw? Or maybe because the straw is unhealthy for the environment. Maybe that's the thing. But I think you would need to drink it. It's difficult because if you try and lift it up, I think there could be a problem. But anyway, listen to live Congolese music. Absolutely. As you can imagine. Okay, so I don't know how to say this. I don't really know the French pronunciation. So they are a legendary band created in 1959 in Brazzaville. They're kind of the Congolese equivalent of the Buena Vista Social Club in Cuba. In other words, there we go, to paraphrase. Nice bit of English here. In other words, they're a bunch of old men who have been making music together for a very long time, more than 60 years, and have gotten really good at it. Okay. It's a nice combination as well. It's actually quite common, good at something, to be good at something. Or the same with bad at something. Okay. And so they seem to play at a bar, I guess. Okay, nice. Or I guess this was just an example. So shop at Marché Total. I guess a lot of the French words and influences is still going to stay there. If we can, what that is. See if we can see any of the prices there. See, but I don't know what these are prices for. That could be drinks, maybe, or not. I can't really read that. Okay, so I don't know what that is, but anyway, okay. So there are quite a few markets in Brazzaville that are worth a visit. But the Marché Total tops them all. That's good, to top them all. So it's better than all the rest. I suspect it might be named after the Total gas station nearby. But the name happens to fit perfectly. This really is the Total African Market experience. The place is absolutely huge and you can find pretty much anything you want within the depths of its meandering alleyways. It's like you're going round and round and round and round. Whether you're looking for fresh produce, cutlery, a new radio, or a bar of soap, you'll find it here. Eventually, because it's meandering, everything's going everywhere. The experience can be quite chaotic, so be prepared for a sensory overload. So maybe lots of sounds, lots of visuals, lots of things happening. But that's common for a market anyway, I think, isn't it? You have maybe not music, but you have people shouting out and that sort of stuff all the time. And with all the stores jumbled together, okay, there's no rhyme or reason. Okay, so maybe there's not like a section for clothes and a section for arts or a section for food. It's just mixed up. So you just have to go around. So the experience can be quite complex. Be prepared for a sensory overload, and with all the stumbles jumbled together with no rhyme or reason, vegans beware that it's pretty much impossible to avoid passing by the stalls selling meat and fish. I have to say, this website's pretty good for a vegan website. I would have thought maybe just concentrate on food and stuff, but I guess it's also highlighting the nomadic side of the nomadic vegan, um, and so exploring. Oh, and if it's been raining, then you'll be walking through mud pretty much the whole time. I guess I'm not really seeing this market very well. Not really selling this market. So the Poto Poto painting school, that could be interesting. I like the idea of going to places and just learning to paint, or trying, even if you're just like copying something and sort of like you're just following the ideas. Same with drawing. I think that could be the interesting skills to learn, even if you're not particularly good. I think it's a good idea. And then the Poto Poto market, you have to be really careful. Yeah, look at those walking through there. You can't really, when you're walking through a market and you're just sort of like looking around at everything and you just walk along. You can't do that here. You have to really be careful that you don't trip over anything there. That's definitely a bit more on the dangerous side. Okay. More, so take a canoe. This looks like a good ride. That would be interesting, I think. This place looks so peaceful. I don't know if it's just the way this person has presented it, but it just seems like a lot of space and a lot of, or maybe just because there are not that many people there. I think a Zell train, but not there because it's padlocked shut. So let's have a look through the last couple. So the Congolese Statue of Liberty. So to learn art is a good idea because you can express a lot of thoughts by painting, or a lot of what you are thinking by painting, absolutely. Although I guess the only thing with that is if you can actually, or if you feel what you've put on the canvas or whatever is reflecting what you want it to say, for you anyway. Because I guess with any piece of art, people always have their own interpretations and that sort of thing, of course. But I guess it's if you feel that whatever you've done contains that meaning, I guess. And if you're not accomplished, but if you practice, I guess you get better. If that's the way to do that. I guess the other way to look at that may be that even if it doesn't exactly express the thought, if you look at it later, you can at least probably remember the thought that you had. And I guess that's the other way to think about it. And absolutely, it could be a very relaxing activity. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So that's the Statue of Liberty. Okay. So a lot of these things are pretty new that she's been shown. Obviously not the river and stuff, but a lot of the bridges, the buildings, and perhaps that's the case of when they were describing the Civil War and everything. So maybe a lot of the things were destroyed. So it's like if you look at Berlin, for example, you're not going to find many things in Berlin before 1950 or something. It's because of the war and that sort of thing, of course. Take a day trip and go to the Gorilla Reserve. Okay, I'd imagine, like she says here. So seeing gorillas in the Congo is a magical experience. I can imagine that's absolutely true. So if you only visit one place in the Congo outside of Brazzaville, then make it to I'm not sure the pronunciation, the nature reserve. The reserve serves as a rehabilitation center for the Western lowland gorillas, with the goal of eventually releasing them back into the wild. In the meantime, they live in semi-liberty, so half freedom in their natural habitat, while they relearn survival skills like foraging, so looking for food and gathering it, and climbing. Most of the gorillas were orphaned at a young age when poachers killed their parents. In the Congo, adult gorillas are eaten as bushmeat or sold for their body parts to be used in black magic. And babies are kept by the wealthy as exotic pets, then abandoned when they grow too big. Yes, well, I can imagine they get quite big, don't they? So, yes. Sid the gorilla, look at this. Sid the gorilla getting ready to throw a fistful of sand at us. So, quite playful gorilla. Nice. Okay, so that's Brazzaville. Okay, so that's a nice bit of information. This has been an extremely good blog. So this is, what's the name again? It's the Nomadic Vegan. Wendy is an intrepid traveler, vegan foodie, and animal lover. She's traveled all over the world, 117 countries and counting. Okay, fantastic. It's a very nice, very nice, very nice blog. Lots of good information. All right, we're going to leave this edition there. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your contribution, Sonia. Good to have you here, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Take care.